All right, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna do this video solo. Um, I've been not making videos for the last couple days because I've been just having some issues with what's been going on. It's been taking a big toll on me. What I want to do today is I wanted to give a really huge insight on this liquidation industry, and I want to give you the truths of store owners. In our case, we're actually going to be closing doors, as you know, from previous videos, but I want to give you guys an insight on the magnitude of the liquidation industry. And we want to talk about what it is that's happening with inventory being sent to liquidators like me, and how much inventory is actually out there. So, I mean, you guys see my store, right? This is a huge store. This store is filled with inventory. I am just a little pencil on the map with what's actually out there, liquidation wise. And today we're going to talk about these pallets. So you can't really see them because so these pallets here, I have 5 of them. They're about 3-4 feet tall. There's 289 boxes on each of those pallets. So we have one back there, and then we have 4. Is it 4, 2? Oh, there's 2 over there, and then there's 2 over here. So I have 5 pallets that are expired dog treats, something that we got slammed on with one of our contracts. And now it's time to get rid of them because it didn't sell. So there's 2 more right there. So not only do I have that I need to get rid of that's expired, I need to get rid of these N95 masks. Now, I'm going to give you a number, and it's going to be a pretty huge number. I'm going to give you a number on this. So those pallets on the top rack, way up there, there's 17 of them. There's 4,000 cases or packages of masks. So all that up there, all the way back, is at one point going to have to be disposed of. So on top of everything that's going on right now, we stopped inventory coming in. We're trying to conserve our cash. On top of everything else, I'm going to have to throw away inventory. So if you think about it, just this store alone, look at how much trash is going to be put into the dumpster and into the landfills. There are warehouses filled to the rim with liquidation, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of square feet of pallets of inventory. The consumerism is so large in this industry with all this stuff. Now, this is not the stuff that's in the stores. This is stuff that's been taken out of the stores. Look at all that. Tell me how sustainable this is for our landfills. All this inventory, consumerism, people buying stuff, people returning stuff being liquidated. I mean, just alone, all that cereal. Now, if this stuff does not sell, this is all going to go to waste. I'm now realizing this, guys. When I got into this business 5 years ago, I was selling vintage things. I was saving stuff from the landfill. Now I'm producing garbage in a crazy amount. I don't know what I feel about that. I don't know about the cost involved that I had to pay to get this inventory, and now the costs I'm going to have to endure to get rid of the inventory. So that's what this video is going to be about. Getting rid of all the stuff that you can't sell. And morally, I'm not going to sell expired dog treats, and I'm going to take the hit. The cost on this load, these 5 pallets, is over $20,000 retail. Not the cost, but the retail. On the masks, over $100,000. Cost on the masks, $20,000. Cost on the dog treats that I'm throwing away is over $2,000. That's $2,000 of money I never recouped from my cost. I didn't even check the numbers, but I don't even think I made break even on that. So if you're thinking about getting into liquidation, think about the things that you're going to have to do to get rid of your inventory when it doesn't sell. Donations. I mean, we've donated tons of inventory. At the end, there's going to be more videos on inventory being thrown away. But just look at the magnitude of this. All this inventory. So when you're thinking about getting into it, where's your exit strategy for your inventory? Do you have that planned? Do you have your dumpsters planned? Do you know how much dumpsters are? There's weight limits. There's times that you need to be taken out of the day to actually fill it. The labor cost. Though these are all things that you need to put into your calculation of how much does it cost for you to run a liquidation store. You think that bin stores are not doing the same thing? They're not. They're basically just keeping their junk and hoping that people buy it on like fill a bag days. I'm talking about discount stores. I'm talking about the items, the cereal. Here's more cereal. The items that you get that you can't sell. So at this point, our cereal is super cheap. I put them for 3 for $2, $1 each. These guys over here are $1 each. These little bags here. And then these guys right here are $2 each. So these are bigger bags. So that's kind of like today when I woke up, that was my concern. What am I going to do with all this stuff? All right, so next thing I'm going to talk about is, and this is stuff that they're not going to tell you. The loads that I actually got with these were part of a contract. They were sitting in the warehouse waiting to be sold past the date. They knew that the dog treats were short dated. They knew that the masks were expired when they sent them to me. So don't think that when you're getting that clean inventory that's perishable or has expirations, don't think that they already know that, and don't think that they're not waiting to make it so you can't disrupt the industry when you start liquidating that stuff to your local area. Don't think that they haven't already thought about that, because they have. And with this whole thing with, oh, it's part of the contract, you got to take it. Actually, why don't you pay for the dumpster? The trash. They're giving all the trash to us guys, and year to date, every month we get a dumpster. 5 years of this. Think about how many dumpsters I've gotten just in trash. And that's just on the home improvement side. That's not even talking about my club loads, because my club loads, I don't get a lot of perishable. This was the only exception that I did get, the dog treats. But we've thrown away a lot of trash, and something I'm not proud of. So when I get into my next stage of this business, if there is one, we're not gonna do all that. We're not gonna be throwing away a lot of garbage, because we're not gonna take on bulk inventory. We're gonna work with what we got, and then we're gonna source individually, not individually, but like smaller buys. And I'm gonna control the inventory that comes into my business and put for resale. So that's really kind of next steps, if it's possible. I don't even know, because the problem is month to date, we haven't even hit $50,000 for the month. And there's only today, through the end of the month, there's only 5 days of selling that we have left. There's going to be a huge shortfall. the way things are going. Unless something miraculously picks up with my traffic, there's going to be a shortfall. This is where you're going to start seeing the problems that happens when you stop taking in inventory and you start liquidating, and you don't have the heavy hitters to give you your good days. You're going to see what happens with that with our location. And I don't know how it's going to go. That's why I'm documenting this. That's why there's a YouTube channel, because I'm basically going to start saying all that I know about the industry as the time goes by. We're going to start talking about loads that I see. We're going to start talking about good buy versus bad buy, and then we're going to talk about process loads. We're going to talk about loads that you're going to get that have been touched multiple times, and we're going to talk about all that, because I'm not holding back. I'm going to be telling you guys the stuff that they're not going to tell you, and I'm going to let you decide if this is a viable type of business. Look at all this. This is all stuff that needs to be processed, guys. So think about it. Think about all the waste. Think about all the scammers when they say they got this load and you don't do your research, and next thing you know it, you wire them the money, and your money's gone. They don't talk about that, guys. They don't talk about the people that buy the inventory and have wins versus loses. All they do is they cover each other. So when you say, how's this guy? What do you guys think about this guy? When you're asking in these groups, I want to buy from this guy. What do you think about him? You know who's responding? The whole circle, the circle that they're in. Remember the Cool Kids Club I was telling you about that I'm not a part of? That's who's responding. When they say that, oh, he's good to go, this and that, it's not somebody that can speak on when they brought that inventory into their location and they profited off of it. I don't see any of that. All I see is everybody vouching for each other, saying, yeah, this guy's, you could send him the money, he ain't gonna burn you. There's gonna be times when you see that and you make that purchase and you're gonna get burned too. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen it multiple times where somebody says, how is this guy? And our guy's like, they vouch for him. Next thing you know it, there's drama in these groups about how this person burned me. I sent them, the $15,000 or whatever it is, and nothing ever arrived. I asked them, to send it to me. Oh, it's on its way. It's on its way. It's on its way. Well, that was a referral, guys. So tell you what, keep sending that money to these guys and keep feeding their windfalls, because little guys like me, since I've been in this industry selling, reselling, do you know how much money I've made? Gross, not including overhead, not including inventory, not including any of this. You see all these racks, all the labor, all the equipment. This business that I created has grossed over $2 million in sales, and none of it has gone in my pocket. I'm working for minimum wage with a $2 million plus gross sales. So you think that you know it all? You want to sell a good load to somebody? What about that? What about these contracts that I was forced to take, the garbage that they knew that was going to be trashed? It's not a win-win for everybody, guys. It's a win-win for whoever's selling that inventory. They're getting the win. So I'm back here where the processing area is. As you can see, this area is starting to get cleared. This is the area that we're going to take and open up and make our sales floor bigger, and everything is going out. So what we're doing is we're tearing it all down. We're making room. I have a lot of gondolas that I need to either get rid of or move to a different spot in the store. So here's one of them. This has got shoes on it. Our eBay room is going to have to be made bigger, I think. This rack right here, it's a medium duty rack. I don't know if I'm keeping it. The idea is to bring it to a place where there's high ceilings, and put all my shelving where my eBay's stored to be shipped out after it's been listed, and put it underneath these racks. So that's the idea, is to take this area right here and put the racks in here, and then up here is going to be additional storage. So that's probably what's going to happen with some of these, but not all of them. There's racks in this building that I'm going to have to get rid of, and I need to start getting rid of it or getting buyers lined up now. These pallets right here, 1, 2, 3 watermelons filled with backlog. This is cereal that I have no idea if it's going to sell or not. Here's another watermelon that was put back here that needs to be processed, and most of this is probably going to go into eBay. There's a pallet of shoes back there that's going to have to be processed. There's another pallet of shoes right here that's going to have to be processed. So as I'm breaking down everything and getting everything figured out with when we leave at the end of the year, I have to have an exit plan for this inventory. And I've been working on it. And I think the biggest thing for me is it's all going to go in watermelons. And then what I'm going to do is stack them up, and then hopefully I can maintain my payment on my forklift at the new location. So then I can stack all these up, and then one by one, I'm going to process these. And the next stage in our YouTube channel is going to include that stage of the business. I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to deep dive into the real time listing that you run into, like the errors with you're using the AI to auto list, the things that you need to check for so you don't get returns. We have one today that I assumed that the barcode was scanned, and I assumed that the wrong information was inputted, and it wasn't verified, because that's the problem that I had, as I had listers that were not paying attention to what they're doing, and basically every week I'm either getting a return or I'm canceling a listing because it's wrong. And everybody would say, well, why don't you check it? On top of everything that I got to do for my business, for the retail side and have the e-commerce side, with as little employees that I had, and as many times I was being pulled away from my duties as the owner to keep the business successful, it was basically impossible to review everything. Now, it's a learning experience, guys, and I'm hoping that in the middle of it I don't lose everything on this business, because there's a lot of things that aren't right that I'm doing wrong, and a lot of the stuff it's in my control, but a lot of stuff is out of my control, what's happening. So the bins, the dollar table, we're gonna have to fill a bag now, because I need this space. I'm gonna start October 1st liquidating everything, and that table needs to come back to what's in the back, because there's a lot of bagged up clothes. There's a lot of things that I can just lay out and organize on these tables, and that's what I'm going to do. So far, if you've been following me, you've been watching my videos, you'll see every video there's improvements since the last video on our store layout. You'll see that it's all been, it seems like it's a plan, but it really is just me just strategically placing everything every day to either catch up or be prepared or stage a sale or what have you. So I mean, I'm seeing a lot of pallets leaving the store, which is good, and that's how I gauge, when 500 items are leaving my store a day, I kind of feel like that's okay, because that means stuff's leaving. But the problem is it needs to speed up, and we're going to be doing a lot of things in the next couple weeks to speed that up, and I'm going to give you guys numbers as best as I can based on the sales. Sunday was not a good day for sales wise. Last week I think we did under 15,000. which is not a help. The bank is coming to the end of the week, end of the month, and we have the money for rent. But if we don't see any increases in sales, the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very rough because we have a lot of money that's due with the debt. Yes, yeah, we have debt. So that's the main reason why we're taking a very cautious approach on what we're doing, is because we're hoping that there's enough here at the end to repay a lot of stuff if we get it all at once and we don't have money going out anymore. And then the next stage is us just getting everything started back up in a way where it's going to be where we can control everything that we can between, you know, 3 people in one building, one smaller building. I'm hoping that all these problems that we have due to being a big retail store and having the retail and the e-commerce of it, I'm really hoping that that goes away. So it's not going to go away right away. One of the things I think that needs to be done is an audit on my eBay, and I'm going to start with the shoes because I think the shoes is the most problematic, and that's where I see the most problems every week with sales that aren't lining up with what it was supposed to be, because we're canceling stuff, because we're refunding people, you know, it's going against our metrics. Our eBay store is at a very dangerous low right now with percentage of transactions that are bad. So we're almost to the point now where we're going to be penalized 6% on top of everything to eBay because we can't get our stuff in order. And we've been teetering that for the last like 2-3 weeks. And again, today there's gonna be another return that I have to approve. So actually there's 2. There's another one that the item got damaged in transit, and the guy said that it wasn't as described because it had a bent tab on it, and it didn't leave my building that way, and it was very well protected. So somewhere in the lines, somebody in the carrier side abused that package, and now I'm gonna add that to the list of all the items that I'm basically going against my numbers on. So not really happy. I'm gonna try to keep these videos coming because this is a wake up call to anybody who's watching. No matter who you are, you know me, you think you know me, or you want to see if I succeed in this whole transition into the next stage, or if you want to see me fail. Who cares? You know, like I really don't care, because I know that for the last 5 years, I've saved so many people money on home improvement, clothes buying. You know, even recently when we're doing the cereal, I mean, I'm helping people out with their grocery bills. So I think that for what we did for our community was an awesome thing. It's just sad that we had to put that much debt out to put it out there, and it's sad that some of the customers that walked in our store took us for granted and expected us to sell under what we needed to sell for over and over and over and over again. You know, that part of it disgusts me. That probably one of the reasons why, you know, if we add up all the discounting, who knows how many truckloads that could have been that we could have purchased to put back into the business that we couldn't, because our customers were basically walking into our store and acting like they own the place. So that's where it's at, guys. There's a lot to be learned, and for the last 5 years, you know, over $2 million in gross. I feel like that's a crazy number, and the fact that I don't have anything in my pocket to show for it, besides my write-offs as a normal business owner, not vacations. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about equipment. I'm talking about, you know, the box truck that we now don't have a way to use it because the contract that we use it to go pick up our club inventory has been canceled. So now we have a $36,000 balance on a box truck that we're not able to use. With a you know, all said and done, it's probably $1,300 a month that we're paying between the truck and the insurance. So somebody told me, well, why don't you start driving and, you know, maybe do some Amazon deliveries? Well, you know, there's a waiting period on that. You can't just walk in and say, hey, I got a box truck. I need to get on your list to be able to sell or to deliver stuff. You need the proper license, you need the proper state numbers, and that stuff. It's like a eight month waiting period, and possibly I could have started that process 8 months ago, but 8 months ago we were not focused on getting our store gone. We were focused on doing what we can to make this thing work. So that was not an option. And everything that we're doing right now is the way that I can best do it. And that's all there is to it. Like we're trying our hardest to keep this store afloat. And now that we have now a lot of employees, a lot of the drama has left the building, which is good. But then that sacrifices the labor and the processing power that we have now. So that's where we're at, guys. Real problems, real discount store, things that we're running into. That's what's going on here. I'm not sugarcoating anything, and I can care less what anybody thinks about what happened here. I've heard actually somebody blame me for it as the owner. I can see where that's going to be somebody saying that. But here's the thing, guys. I never accounted for bad inventory. One, overpriced inventory, labor force that was here just taking my payroll and not making it so every day when they walked in, they were doing things that I would do as an employee, as innovate my job and do the best that I can for the business that's paying my paycheck. So that was an issue. That was a huge issue. I never accounted for all the damage, and I never accounted for all the expenses that were behind the scenes that we had to endure too, such as your fire inspections, right? Your all of your fire extinguishers. You have to get those charged up every year or tested. Your sprinklers, right? Your sprinklers have to be tested. The whole thing with this electric, where the data centers are raising rates for consumers and businesses to pay for their business. That was a huge one, guys. There was a month where our electric bill doubled, that just out of nowhere. Gas. I mean, gas went on a budget, so that's okay. And then here's the thing too. You never account for when your computers fail. We've had 2 computers fail this year alone that I had to replace, and we've only had those computers for less than 2 years at that point. So these are things that you need to understand, guys. You can't just jump into something like this and expect it to run smooth. Our location was a huge fail on the setback and people not seeing us from Randall Road, and all the people walking in and saying, I didn't know that you guys existed. Even though another thing, we hired a marketing team, and they basically just took our money and ran. They gave us crap. They didn't do anything. They were supposed to geofence for us. No one geofenced. It was all just a farce, saying, "Oh, we're doing this for you, and we're doing that." And then they would reply to my reviews, like kindergarten responses, and I had to tell them, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you writing Dear Abby stories to my customers? That's not who we are. Did you even take a minute to come in here and learn who we were as a business when you started doing business with us? No, you didn't. And now you're gone. And the thing is like, how fair is that we trusted somebody to help us get traffic, and all they did was sit behind their computer and click buttons and not give us what they said that they would do. So that's my rant, guys. You don't think about that kind of stuff. You don't think about the fact that there's been times that we felt like we wanted to send somebody money out of desperation, and I pulled back and I said, no, there is something about this situation, this load that I do not like. So we don't do it. We stopped buying our home improvement because we were getting trashed. at some points doing 2 dumpsters per truckload to get rid of the stuff. All the cardboard, all the labor. I can go on and on, guys. Here's another thing. We got these shopping carts. See the wheels? How the little rubber things are coming off? All these shopping carts are like that. For some reason, the batch of shopping carts that we purchased, little by little, the little rubber wheels fall off of it and have to be removed manually. They leave little things around the store. Here's some right here. You can barely see it, but this is a part of it. See that little piece of a tire? These are things that you don't expect that happen. And at first I was like, where are these things come from? What is this? And then I started seeing it on all the carts. And I'm like, all right, well, I probably could replace the wheels, but you're talking $8 a piece for the tires plus the labor. And when you got 25 shopping carts, tell me how that's a service to your customers, to take the money from your business and replace tire wheels on a cart just so you don't have to see the little rubber things everywhere, versus taking that money and putting it towards inventory or putting it towards marketing or put it towards something else. These are the things that you need to understand, guys. And it's not all fun and games. It's actually all fun and games until the business closes with over $200,000 in debt. That's fun and games. That's really fun, guys. So start small, stay small. And then when you're gonna be buying this inventory from these brokers, go get yourself on a plane or drive over to them. Like there's times that we've made, drives over 12 hours to go to the place to check it out. Spur of the moment sometimes. Sometimes it was something where we kind of planned it. And then, we did as much as we could, guys, to make sure that we protected our business as best as we could. So yeah, that's my rant. And if you have anything to say it in the comments. Like my video, subscribe. I really do want to keep this thing going, and I will make as many videos as I can. And then when we get to the point where I can start talking numbers, when I can sit in front of my computer and actually concentrate on what's going on, because remember, it's me, it's my other half running the business. All the accounting side of it. We have 2 cashiers. We have 1 processor that comes 4 times a week. And then we also have help that comes 1 day a week, like 5 employees. So that's what we're working with, guys. And I'm not going to change it because I'm slimming down everything. It's not the way it used to be where I had, up to 18 employees at one point running the show. Not us running the show, but the employees running the show, playing their little games, horsing around and wasting my labor and just totally just making it a joke. That's gone, guys. And that was part of the thing I was struggling with over a year, trying to get my business back to where I control it. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy getting people out of here and getting people in here, training them, getting used, being told one thing, oh yeah, we're available. And then when it comes time to work, no. And then over and over and over again, guys. So let's see if you can deal with that too. So yeah, that's the real deal, guys. And I appreciate you guys watching. And I'm gonna end my rant now. So thanks. Have a great day.